Hello, hello, JJ DiGeronimo here, and thank you so much for joining Together We Seek podcast. As you know, I love to bring you new energy practices, practitioners, new ways that people use their gifts in the world to help others illuminate their path. And Michelle Falcone is one of my friends. She lives near me. We actually met through a local center that has some of the biofrequency lights, and probably she could do a better job, but I go and sit there so to help clean out some of the energy that's no longer serving me. Michelle is an amazing channel. She uses crystal skulls, she's Reiki, she does all the good things. She offers a lot of classes online, and I am so excited to have her here with me today. We've been talking about this for a long time, to talk about crystal skulls.
Yes. Hi, JJ. I'm so happy to be here with you and with all your listeners.
It's so exciting. And I think this is absolutely perfect timing because some of us might have heard about crystal skulls and many of us don't really understand them. I feel like I'm more in that realm, in that bucket of not really understanding exactly how to use crystal skulls, although they're familiar to me. I feel like I've had some past lives and places that crystal skulls were part of it. So they're very intriguing to me. So tell us, what are crystal skulls?
So there's a Mayan legend that originally there were 12 crystal skulls, one in each of the healing temples in Atlantis, which is probably why you feel a resonance with them. And they would hold the information for the healing temple, like anything that would come through, any sort of channeling, they would hold healing energy. And when Atlantis disappeared, they all disappeared. So the Mayan legend is that, oops, sorry, kitty. Cats love this energy. They really do. So the legend is that when Atlantis disappeared, the crystal skulls disappeared also. And that when the earth and its people have evolved enough to not misuse the information that the crystal skulls hold, they will return and they'll form a circle, the 12 of them, and a 13th skull will appear in the center to kind of absorb the information. And from my channeling, the 13th skull is each one of us whenever we're ready to evolve and we're ready to receive the information, we become the 13th skull.
That is powerful. Now, I've been to Sedona where I've seen crystal skulls. I've seen some crystal skulls in some of the practitioners that I visited, their homes, their offices, but you have 25 of them. I have really never seen more than 2 or 3 in one location. When did you start collecting crystal skulls and how have they made their way to you?
So I'll just be really brief, but one day I was sitting in my home and I had just gotten done taking a shamanism class online. And I heard something tell me to go to Florida. And I thought, okay, sure, I'll go. At some point in time, I'll go. And then I heard, no, you have to go this weekend, which I had a job and I was, every reason in the world not to go. But I followed my intuition. I thought, well, I'll just for the heck of it see if there's a ticket. And things ended up lining up. So I was able to go to Florida. And when I arrived there, I went and visited a shaman right from the airport, interestingly. And he had 2 crystal skulls from Mongolia. They have been passed down for 2,000 years from shaman to shaman. That was my introduction to them. I had no idea why I was going to Florida, but that's what happened when I was there. And to make a long story really short, I ended up coming home with this one. Actually, it's a little backwards, but this is my very first crystal skull art. And he has a heart on the side of him. But when I was initially exposed to him, I said, oh no, I'm good. That's a skull. I'm not interested, because I saw him from behind. And then when the shaman turned him around, I said, no, I don't want that. But he ended up making his way to me, and he was my first one. And then things just progressed from, I had no idea what to even do with him. I just brought him home. And when I got home, I was like, okay, I don't know what to do with this skull, but I know I'm supposed to bring the skull home. I don't know what this, I knew nothing about crystal skulls. I knew, to me, they were kind of scary, like intimidating. And then I started working with him and finding more things out and channeling with him and understanding that I am a crystal skull caretaker, and they're all coming back to me, collaborating. And this is Mana. She's a 44-pound crystal skull. She's my mama skull. And so the way I determine if the skull is for me is I ask the skull if it would like to work with me. And then when I get a yes, because my intention is for healing and evolution and bringing peace, then the skull says yes, and that's the skull that I bring with me.
Wow. I mean, that is powerful. And the fact that you listened to that whisper, the fact that you were like, okay, let me just see what a ticket would be. And then you get the ticket and somehow you end up with a shaman. Were you like, did you meet the shaman at another point, or someone recommended you to go to the shaman?
A friend of mine picked me up and said, I want to take you to meet this guy that I know. He's a shaman. And I thought, well, this came to me after a shamanism class. So that seems interesting. Like, okay, like up for the adventure. But don't you feel like that's the way things happen, JJ? Like, you just follow the breadcrumbs. You don't really know, like, be in the moment, be excited, have that curiosity and see what happens. And then you end up in the middle of all these cool things.
Oh, I do. I'm up for the adventure too. And I think you have to trust, plus you have to be willing to listen and lean into what is asked of you. And yes, and a lot of times the messages come through for me to just say something to somebody. Like when I was in the Metro Parks about a couple months ago, I was, hey, please go up to that person and invite her to the thing you're going to. And I'm like, yeah, no, I'm not doing that. No. And then 3 more times while I was walking by myself. And I find myself going up to the woman and saying, well, I don't really know you, but I'm going to this moon circle. And I asked her and moved on. And when I got to the moon circle, they're like, your friend's here. I'm like, who? And they're like, the woman. I'm like, what woman? I don't sometimes don't even remember because they're not my messages.
Yeah.
So yes, I can totally appreciate that. Like other people will usher you along on your path, and you will get messages through your thought process or something you're feeling. So is there a limited number of crystal skulls in the world?
No. So it's very interesting when you start learning about crystal skulls. They're very sacred objects. So there's a reason that people have been, that there's this idea that's been cultivated to be afraid of them.
Mm-hmm.
But they're sacred objects. Even the Tibetan monks had them. Sorry, my cat again. The animals love this energy. So there are not a limited amount, but there are different categories of crystal skulls. There are ancient ones, and some people say that they have ancient ones. It's difficult to tell. The really only way you can tell is to really examine the skull and see what type of tools it was made with, because like this crystal has been forming in the earth for thousands of years, this one right here. But it's the tools that they're made from that would determine if they're ancient crystal skulls. But one of the things that I've learned from working with them is if they're ancient crystal skulls, it's a good thing to know. But if you have a modern crystal skull, which just means that it was carved, it was a crystal that was carved into a skull more recently, you can sit them together and the new ones will attune to the ancient ones, which is kind of like we work, right? We get somebody that we really look up to, and then we spend time with them and we find that we're attuning to their energy. So they work the same way.
How fascinating. How fascinating. So I know you have a lot of practices. I mean, you do hypnosis, you're a medium, you're intuitive, you're a Reiki teacher. I love your meditation classes and your the classes that you hold at the light that I go to often. So how do you use the crystal skulls in your work?
So one of the really great ways to utilize crystal skulls is to do a meditation with them. And I usually choose 12 crystal skulls. Yes, that's an on-purpose number. And I put them in a circle on a very beautiful cloth that I have with the Tree of Life. And I have them facing out, and I sit in the center of them. And along with singing bowls, I do a meditation for people. I think I still even have some free ones on my Facebook page that you can look back and you can see. I posted some live ones. And then people get the benefit of the meditation, they get the benefit of the crystal skulls, they sit outside the circle. And then at the end of the meditation, I invite people, if they'd like to come sit in the center, and then I turn the crystal skulls around so they can have their own personal experience with the skulls. You can also do readings with them. I do readings with these crystal skulls. That's a whole different process. It's very interesting. It's very individual for the person who's receiving the reading. You can do healings with the crystal skulls. They're crystals, so just like the crystals in our phone and our TV, they hold a lot of information. And because they're carved into a skull, like we have a skull, there's a shape resonance that happens, which is very scientific. And as we were talking about earlier, when you work with a skull like this one, this is a traveler skull, then when you connect with a skull that's in this shape, then this is the type of energy that you connect with to do channeling and things like that. But I am offering a workshop, working with crystal skulls workshop. Let me look at my dates, May 16th and 17th. That's online. And if you're interested, you can join that. You can find that on my Facebook page, Come Home to Your Heart with Michelle. You can buy a ticket on there. And then you can show up online, and I go through the whole experience of how to choose a crystal skull, how to know if one's chosen you, how to create a connection with them, how to find out what your crystal skull would like to do with you and how it would like to work with you, because they are sentient beings. So, just like any friends, you have a conversation with them, and then you develop a relationship with them, and then you work together. So that's kind of how it works in a nutshell.
I find this fascinating because different practitioners use different tools. Some use feathers, some use oracle cards, but I really have not yet met anybody who's had several crystal skulls. And so if anyone who's listening to this is one of those people, we would love to meet you, because I think having over 20 skulls as part of your work is so magical. And the fact that you were able to find so many.
Yeah, I would say that they kind of found me.
Makes sense.
Even this one too, this one was owned by the shaman that I visited when I got my first skull. And then this Mana, my big crystal skull, she was online, and I found her online, and I thought, oh, this is majestic. Like, someone has to have bought her already. There's no way she's available. And I scrolled through like the 50 messages underneath her, and everybody kept saying, oh, my guide said no. I'm not going to be able to do this. And I thought, okay, is she meant for me? And so I asked her picture, because energy is not bound by time and space. I said, would you like to work with me? And I got a resounding yes. And I thought, my gosh, how in the world am I ever going to afford this skull? And I thought, okay, well, I'm going to message the guy who has her, and I'm going to say, hey, this is my information. Would you be willing to work something out? And even though he told all these other people no, he told me yes. So when something's meant to be, it will be. You just have to trust.
I have goosebumps because I feel like that's so applicable to everybody, is allowing yourself to be in the moment with whatever you're making a decision about, and asking your higher self, like, is this for me? Asking the object, is this for me? The situation, and then allowing the messages to come through.
Yeah. Trusting your intuition. Yeah, absolutely.
And you do so many classes, retreats, one-on-ones, groups. So tell us what else you have coming up.
Oh, thank you so much. I would love to. I'm so excited. I have my piece of paper, so don't forget. So April 24th, the last Friday of every month, I do a Seance in the Cellar event at CLE Urban Winery in Cleveland Heights. That is an in-person live event. And you can come to that. It's 7 to 9:30. My people hear seance and they get really nervous. I don't do anything scary. It's all very high vibrational. It's where everybody comes together and I talk to make a connection with people who have crossed over. It's very healing, very uplifting. People laugh and you kind of find people that you really resonate with. So that's April 24th. And then on the last Friday of every month throughout the year, May 2nd, I am in a retreat. I'm working with a group of beautiful women. It's in Shrouded at Resilient Acres. So it's May 2nd from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. It's only $75. It's a women's retreat. So sorry, guys, not this time, but you can register for that at www.winher.me. May 16th and 17th, I'm doing a Crystal Skull workshop. And you can find that online on my Facebook page, Come Home to Your Heart with Michelle. That is online. You can register right on my Facebook page. And in July, at the end of every Tuesday night in July from 6:30 to 8:30, I will be doing a hybrid class on at CLE Urban Winery on Tuning Into Your Channel, where we will be talking about interesting learning, practicing channeling. We can channel with the crystal skulls. It's tuning into your own channel, seeing who you're connected to, connecting with your guides, connecting with your counsel, connecting with your past lives, connecting with other beings. So that will be the 7th, 14th, 21st, and 28th of July, both in person and online. So it's a hybrid class. So if you are interested in taking that class, you can register on my Facebook page. Again, Come Home to Your Heart with Michelle. You can attend online. If you attend online through Zoom, you'll be live with us while we are in person, and we'll be interacting with all the people in the class. So super excited about that.
So beautiful. And for those listening, Michelle is going to place her events inside Together We Seek down online, and you'll find many other energy-based retreats and gatherings, because I feel like all of us right now, and I'd love for you to weigh on how you think the energy is going here on the planet, because I feel like things, well, as we talked about earlier, are speeding up, but I also think people are yearning for more connection.
Yeah, I think so too. And not just connection, but connection with people who are on the same vibration, and that's what we were talking about just a little bit before, like how your audience is growing and people are attracted to my classes. It's because everybody's like a magnet, getting magnetized to the things that they're vibrating on the same frequency with. So it's super exciting and it's moving so fast. We're evolving.
We are evolving. And I love the fact that we can talk online and reach people all over the world that are interested in these modalities, in these practices. Maybe they've heard of a crystal skull before. Maybe they were trying to identify, is it one of the magical 12? Is it something that they can use in their practice? Or can they work with you for a reading? So I really love that you shared all of this with us, because I think you took a little bit of the guesswork out of why crystal skulls are part of some people's practices and others never see them.
Yeah. Oh, thank you so much. Well, I feel so honored that you had me on. I'm so excited for all the listeners who this has reached, because this is part of my my life purpose. I feel to just connect people with the crystal skulls and bring healing and connection to them.
Oh, they're so beautiful. I can't wait to see. I think maybe we'll see one if I haven't yet. I know you bring a lot of crystals to your Tuesday event at 4:00 in Brecksville, Ohio, where I'll be joining you, and you do crystal meditations and mediumship. And I just think it is really awesome to just lean into things that maybe you've never explored before, or things that interest you, because there's so much wisdom out there in our world right available to us. It's just opening up yourself to receive and be in the frequency where many of these items reside.
Yeah, and I appreciate you so much for being so open and for really connecting with your audience and wanting to bringing them like such amazing information. So thank you for that.
Oh, Michelle, this was so great. Thank you so much for being one of my guides and being part of my network. And for all of you out there, Together We Seek, we've put Michelle's links below so you can access those. I've also put them in the messages, her website, so you can click on it easily and find her events and reach out to her, ask her about the skulls. If you have a skull, connect with her. I feel like the more we can connect with each other on these different modalities and experiences, the world just gets smaller and our frequency gets higher.
Yeah.
And our visitor is back again. There's so many cats that join us on the Together We Seek YouTube channel when we're recording. Almost every third episode, there's cats involved. It's so funny, like you say, how much animals love this energy. And I feel like that just shows us we're doing something right.
I agree with you 100%.
With all of that, I just want to thank everyone for taking the time to listen. I'm so honored that you would pick this podcast and really connect with so many of the guests that visit me. And I really look forward to continuing to connect with you here. So with that, I hope you have a magical day and continue to be in the moment and pay attention to the messages that are sent to you. Thank you, Michelle.
Bye-bye.